If you want to know the truth and you're here in the early days, it's because I made something very, very cool in Mid-Journey, and I thought, "Yeah, I like that. That's a cool golden microphone." And we're gonna talk about golden opportunities in artificial intelligence. We're gonna celebrate filmmakers, people that are using new tools to make stories and media in a way that makes us excited. And what makes us excited about AI is that you, as an individual, with your friends or by yourself, can make things that would have cost you thousands or millions of dollars before. So, this isn't getting all excited about artificial intelligence or some set of tools that seem like super cool. This is getting excited about telling stories that you could not otherwise tell. This is getting excited about connecting with people that share your interest in a way you could not do before artificial intelligence. So, sure, there's Pika, there's Runway, there's Midjourney, there's Ideogram, there was Stable Diffusion. There are a million things that you can use tools. There's HeyGen, 11 Labs. The list of tools goes on and on, but they're built on technologies that are super interesting. They get their own interfaces. We find places that we're comfortable. We find budgets we can deal with. We find markets where we can sell our stuff. And before you know it, we're doing things that we used to do, that we love to do, that we were never able to do, that now we can do. Um, this is why this channel exists. So I want to say that. Looking how to use my interface. There is chat down here. So I've got live chat. And what should I say? Just like when you're learning how to program. So hello world from the Savant-AI network. And we say, we are here. And why am I doing this at almost 11 p.m. in Austin on Sunday, January 26th? Because it's fucking nearly the end of the month of January in the new year, 2025. And I did not do it 4 weeks ago. I'm doing it now. I'm doing it now because if I don't do it now, I won't start it. And the idea is that I will start it. So here I am starting it. That's it. So we are here. And I'm going to try this differently. I'm going to see if I can actually talk to the chat. So we are here. Awesome. And you are here. Let's do this! Exclamation point. All right, I'm going to turn my microphone off there. I'm going to share some insights. Part of what we do when we're not on the network is that we teach courses, and the platform we've been teaching on for some time is actually called Maven.com. That's where we've been teaching. And I realize, given how all this is working, if I go back here, I can actually pull up a link and show you what we do online, and then share with you some comments that our students have made. Hey, Emma, good to see you. So who is Savant-AI anyway? Savant-AI is Matt Burton, that's me, and Christian Burton. We're partners. We're related. You'll figure that out soon enough. And we've got a number of interesting friends. So we finished one of our courses, and I may even figure out how to share a screen here. I've got to bypass some security here. Let's see what I can do. So, there's a lot of ways to learn. One of our favorite ways to learn is for free. On this network, on these videos, everything's going to be free. So that's free. But when you want to have interactive feedback with us, especially when your company has a budget for it, then you may want to find us at Maven, take the course that we teach. It is focused specifically on people who tend to have a budget to do this kind of thing, which is the leaders of companies, usually small and mid-sized companies. Although we have some experience working with Fortune 500s as well, we like small companies because they make decisions, they make them fast, they take our advice, they implement, and they move forward. And that is a lot more fun, I can tell you. So we focus on leaders, founders of companies, and creators. Um, I put the link in the chat. We teach a 4-week course. We have found that it's better to spread what we want to share out over 4 weeks of time. That way, Christian and I can deliver our instruction in the first hour of each course on each Saturday when we teach. And then we can have people get hands on in the second hour and they get personal attention, something that is unique these days. They get our attention, they get our feedback, they're essentially getting consulting. And at that rate, the $800 we charge, which is a premium for this kind of instruction, becomes very affordable and very valuable to business leaders. So, this course is all about business leaders. And if that's what we do online when we're charging business leaders, what are we doing here? Well, here we're going to tell you about other stuff we do. Kind of. Yeah. So this sounds like a long pitch. It's not. This is just kind of being real with you. What do? We want to reach all the audiences. We do not want to reach just the business people. We want to reach everybody. And so if you go to our stand store, and it looks like I'm not really sharing the right screen here. So I'm going to share again. There's always kind of a bit of a learning curve. So if I go to our stand store, you can read some of our reviews there, and you can read about that course there, and you can see what we do with corporations there and our current pricing here in January of 2025. But you're also going to start to see on that store, you're going to start to see soon that we're going to develop other courses for people with special areas of interest like Midjourney, where you make amazing images. And once we start sharing those things, we're going to make miniature courses and some free downloads that are available to everybody so that everybody can learn. So that's what I want you to know about us in terms of those things. Okay. So we teach corporations and we teach individuals, and what we like is seeing people learn how to embrace and use new technologies. My first technology job where I got paid and was able to buy a car and travel around and do all the things like an adult. My first job doing that was 1988. So that's a while ago. I worked for a company called WordPerfect, and I helped them do the quality control on all of their software instruction manuals for every single product that they made. So that's my backstory. That's how I got my technology superpowers, if I have any of them at all. Every single program that they wrote at that company. So it was basically a major competitor to Microsoft at the time. Spreadsheets, databases, writing programs, the main office program, the calendar, every single thing. So I had that job in the late 80s before going to New York City. And then in the late 90s, mid 90s to late 90s, I was in one of the first companies that ever put video on the web. This is before YouTube or anything else. So my interest in technology and in video goes back to the 80s to the 90s. I actually studied in film school in New York City. So I like film, I like tech, and the things that are going to show up on this channel, the Golden Microphone, are going to include all of that. Cybersecurity, filmmaking, graphic design, office operations, all the corporate stuff. When the stock market crashed in the year 2000, I went back to school and I got a business degree. I studied finance. and then I had a financial career. I looked at where money flowed, how things got allocated. And if you think that doesn't matter to technology, you've got this all wrong. The way to understand virtually everything is to see where the money goes. What do people desire? What do businesses need? People desire connection. So, in every way, you'll see money flow towards things that make people feel connected, whether it's companionship, whether it's entertainment, whether it's social media. It's all about connection. With businesses, it's also about connection. It's about widgets. So in the 90s, it was about Cisco routers and all those things that would connect one enterprise to the next. And even Tim Berners-Lee, who developed hypertext markup language, was just figuring out ways to mark up documents so they could be shared from one machine's file structure to another machine. So machine to machine, then network to network, all of the money got made on connections. So a lot of what we're going to care about in this golden microphone is the connections between technology systems, between people, between ideas. We think that for the rest of our lives, artificial intelligence is going to be a major part of the connections that we have as humans and as workers. And the connections, if you just want to play with that word, get super, super wild. Um, if you look at a pyramid where there's a whole lot of workers at the bottom of the pyramid, the entry level, and you look at the top of that pyramid and you get the tip of the spear, you get the leaders and decision makers at the top of the spear. And then in the middle, where everyone's climbing to get into the middle to get closer to the top, AI has the potential to wipe out the middle of virtually every kind of organization. And that's terrifying. And we think we want to help people feel a little bit less terrified. How do you feel? How do you possibly feel? How do you possibly feel a little less terrified about losing your job? You feel less terrified, one, if you know it's coming and can start to do something about it. This is why we teach. This is why we teach. We don't teach through terror. We actually teach through fun. We share with people the potential for making conscious decisions, being agents to help themselves, upskill, gain new skills, retool, find new tools, get strategic, get out of the company before they're pushed out of the company, find new ways to make a living before they have to find new place to live. This is no joke. There will be so many new jobs, but on the way to new jobs, there will be so many people losing jobs. This is a major reason why we do this show and why for the past 12 months since January of 2024, we have been spending most of our time teaching and consulting, teaching individuals for personal and professional transformation, teaching companies for how to do more with fewer people, how to do more, increase their margins, how to do more, have more skill sets for their people without hiring people with those skill sets. Artificial intelligence is based on the idea of imitation. And the way that you record an imitation, the way that you notate it is through an algorithm. So we talk about algorithms. An algorithm is a pattern. Um, Algorithm is a great word, and I can't remember the entire definition of it. But algorithm with that AL is related to words like algebra, and it's related to cultures like the Islamic culture. But I think it's even older than that if I looked up algorithm. Um, but algorithms are ways of recording and holding on to patterns. And artificial intelligence is all about patterns. So if there's something that we can do as a human being, and if we can articulate that thing and describe what that thing is that we do, then our description of that is a type of algorithm. Our description for that thing becomes a type of instruction. And if we understand what we do and can write down the instruction, then we can tell a machine how to do it and we can extend what we are able to do. If we understand this, then we become the agent that has more control over what happens next. If we don't understand this, then one day we're going to describe to our bosses everything that we do in a given day. They're going to go, do that one, two more times. Let's get a perfect description. And then they're going to say, thank you for your service. You're done. Goodbye. Because you've now allowed us to train your replacement. So let's not pretend that this is not going to happen. This is happening. So if this is happening, let's be the ones who take charge of it and understand where we're going with this. Let's become participants in the process. If we love books and we love writing, let's figure out how we can write new books. Let's figure out how we are the humans that stay in that process, that stay in that loop, that contributes something of value to that process. Because if we don't stay involved, we're going to see other types of organizations simply have computers write all of the books, make all of the videos, make all of the movies. And eventually, once these algorithms get put into knowledge systems, and then those knowledge systems get into a robot body, once our NVIDIA chips and knowledge bases are housed in a robot body, then the robots will also do the physical work we do. Maybe they will become plumbers, maybe they will become, carpenters, maybe they will do some of this more physical work. But the first and easiest things to replace are all of the jobs done with our brains. And the next challenges are the jobs done with our bodies. So this isn't meant to be cringe. It's actually just meant to be like, the golden microphone is here because there is a golden set of opportunities ahead of us and so many interesting people working on so many angles here. Um, but there is a good, bad, and ugly. There is a good, bad, and a way forward. This is not one thing or another. There is black and white and gray to everything that I'm talking about right now. So it seems that I've been talking for close to 20 minutes, where all I meant to do was say hello. Hello, world. We are Savant-AI, Matt and Christian. Why are we here? Why are we Savant-AI? 8.5 years ago, almost 9, I worked inside a big boxy room. There were what you might call half cubicles. There were partitions just about to the eye line that surrounded me on 2 sides, not 4 sides, not like an office, not even 3, but gave me sort of 2 sides. And I sat at a desk and I had 2 monitors and I had phones, and there was a room full of people like me, basically all wearing khakis and some sort of nondescript corporate type of shirt on the phones, following a playbook to talk to our precious clients about their financial resources. And because the playbook didn't allow for tremendous amounts of personality or interpretation, but it was really about efficiency and getting things done in an orderly fashion according to the playbook and the compliance for the role and the industry, I began to think I might as well fucking be replaced by a robot. So that was about 9 years ago. My first instinct in that situation was actually to go talk to the technology team and say, I'd love to work with you. I think there's a role for artificial intelligence in our national company. And they asked me if I was famous. And I said, no. They asked me if I was published. And I said, no. They asked me when I was last current in technology. And I said, well, in the late 90s. I did teach at Columbia University in New York. I did know quite a lot at one time. And while I'm not published right now and not at an institution like that right now, I know a lot about my daily job. I knew I have a lot of people doing my daily job in these big rooms here and across the country. And I see a way of improving what we do in our daily job. And I don't have to be current in technology to see a massive opportunity and to be able to tell you explicitly what I do well and what makes more money for the company by doing my job well. And I, because I understand humans and technology, I can separate the human part from the playbook that could be run by artificial intelligence. And I would like to help this company because this is a very good company. I like this company. And they said, but can we go back to the first question? Are you famous? Are you published? Are you known? And everything they asked me, I had to honestly say, no, I'm not. But I do see the future. At the same time, to preserve my own sanity as I was being asked to become a robot rather than to go help that firm become robotic and leverage the best aspects of its humans, I did my robot work by day and I went to yoga teacher training by night and on the weekends. And I thought, why can't we make wise decisions? We're going to have this robotic future, this artificial intelligence future. Why can't we be wise? Why can't we bring the practice of yoga or tantra or meditation to what we do with machines? And that's when this phrase savant came to me. I thought if I ever trained a robot, I would want it to be kind and wise and empathetic and human because I know it's going to be artificial and robotic. Wouldn't the greatest challenge be to make it empathetic, to give it the ability to listen, even possibly the ability to touch, to feel, to hear, to sense? Why couldn't it be trained in the same way I was being trained in my yoga teacher training? And I thought that would truly be savant AI. That would be AI that knew everything like a savant. But that word savant seemed to imply more to me. It seemed to be kind of like that word tantra, which implied touch and breath and connection. I thought I want a savant AI company someday, but I'm working every day. So let me write a savant AI screenplay. Let me do that. And that's when I started writing and later took that project to Sundance and developed it somewhat in a few courses there and made some friends. And as I was writing that screenplay, Savant-AI, I wanted to get closer to technology and I moved to Silicon Valley and I got closer to people. I got out of that big regional call center and I got right in front of people again, face to face. And when I first made a logo for my company, Savant-AI, I wanted to put two faces together looking at each other. And I made those faces in Midjourney, one of the first programs I learned from Nick St. Pierre at that company, maven.com, that I mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast. So Nick has been my Midjourney teacher for about 2 years. One of the first early images I made was this beautiful robot, beautiful woman, male robot, female woman, looking at each other again with this idea of savant AI. What would it be if we could have that human technology connection and what could we do with that? If it was so real that it felt like touch and breath and smell and connection, where would all this go? So, all of this sounds very pie in the sky, and it is to me. And that's the poetic stuff, and that's the futuristic stuff, and that's the vision stuff. But there's also the practical. How do you make a living? And how did I leave that financial career and then come to artificial intelligence? So for me, it was by degrees. And I share this part of my story because somebody listening to this out there is going to say, how do I make this transition? Every freaking person is talking about AI, but I don't see how ChatGPT gets me my next job. Well, here's the thing, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's not that simple. Maybe there are several steps you need to take. I can tell you this though, to get from one place to another, most of us, none of us that I know, have the ability to just get there. We have to go step by step. We have to pick a direction and walk, fly, bicycle, run, drive. We have to find some mechanism to get us inch by inch, mile by mile to the new place. And ChatGPT may just be the start for you. Certainly was the start for me. It was November of 2022. That was the first technology tool start that really mattered to me, November 2022. But I knew ChatGPT was coming. I was not as early as some others that I know about. In 2017, I was not aware of the paper, Attention is All You Need. I was not aware of transformer architecture. I did not know that DeepMind existed at Google. I did not know. Uh, I did not know that they had figured everything out at Google long before OpenAI. I wasn't aware those things were coming. But when I got to Silicon Valley in 2019, I knew that AI was the hottest topic, was the hottest topic for venture capitalists there. It was the biggest thing before COVID. And when COVID came, a lot of the development and venture capital funding slowed or was more behind closed doors. It certainly wasn't at open meetings in Silicon Valley when I first arrived there. So some of the public awareness of these things went away. But for Sam Altman and OpenAI, things didn't stop. And for other people, things didn't stop. So the technology was evolving. I was writing a screenplay. And when I finally put my hands on tools, it was ChatGPT. Before I knew that tool existed, I did know I could learn. I had books. You can see some books behind me. I could pull books off the shelf, books like Possible Minds, compilations, um, Talk of Singularities. I had a friend at Google. I visited their campus. I went to some early meetings, and again, COVID happened. Um, so the most structured learning I chose to do to start those steps was going to Stanford, night school, night and night school. There were no weekends really. It was all night school. I took 7 courses at Stanford, everything from ethics to statistics to building neural networks, all these things to see if that would get me down the road to understanding what I wanted to before I left my old career behind. Stanford, 7 courses. If you look me up on LinkedIn, you can see everything that I did there. Some great professors. Very much enjoyed Angel Evan, my first professor in AI ethics. And for his course in our presentations, I remember using Dolly. I used Dolly to make some really crazy, silly, rough looking images before I started using Midjourney. So, bit by bit, in this 30 minutes now, you're getting an idea of my pathway to AI, um, going back to 2015 in Colorado, 2019 in Silicon Valley, leaving my financial career at the end of 2022 and giving myself completely over to Savant-AI and our company in December of 2022. So here we are now. It's 2025. We've taught over 100 students, over 120, closing in on 150 in a variety of cohorts, 12 of them last year, one of them so far this year. working on a book to share with people. Books are a very affordable format and great way of sharing ideas and learnings. So we're working on a book about the AI apocalypse. Do you ever look up the word apocalypse? It actually means to tear the cover off of something. So we hope to take the cover off of all of these things that are half known or not known or secret and talk about AI in a way that makes sense to us. And another piece of the mystery and backstory, Christian is related to me and is my son. And he was born in the earliest days of the internet in the mid 90s. And he has grown up with every technology that I love and every technology that we have benefited from and every technology that has distracted us and every platform in the system that I could ever put in his hands from about age 2 and 3 onward. And so he has skills that far surpass mine. He has a mind that's different than mine. We find that we have complementary minds. And in future editions of the show, he will be one of the speakers and guests from time to time. So, Christian and I now, two generations of people, father and son, run this company. And in the background, we both hear from my wife, his mother. She's also part of the picture, part of the story in the background, and a very important part. So, this is the foundation and backstory of Savant-AI. And this is probably rounding out to be what I feel like sharing tonight on our first show, which we hope reaches some kind of audience. We have a handful of people who know who we are, a handful, fewer than fewer than 15 or 20, I'm sure. But we expect to grow this network and this channel during this year. It's a priority for us. We expect to interview friends and people who are new friends. We want to interview them and use this forum and format to bring their ideas to you. There is nothing fake or false about our interest or our determination to share this knowledge with the world because it does feel like more than a thing to do. It feels like a mission. This is a mission to be taken seriously and shown enthusiasm and respect and vitality because this is important an important part of our future as humans together is to understand AI technologies and to take responsibility for where they go. There are many of us individuals who need to work together to have a voice so that the technologies are not simply driven by the desires of a few. So the plan is to do this on Sunday nights. At least that has been my thought. And so that will be the way we will do it. The thought is to keep it a live stream so that there can be a live chat. And the thought is that by doing it live, there's a kind of a danger to it, which makes it more fun, more provocative, and more real because it's not going to be edited in advance. Um, but if there are ways to improve the production value over time, we will do that. To improve the content over time, we will do that. But this evening, this is just a personal story and a personal invitation to each one of you to join us. Join us as we go forward. So, again, I'm Matt Burton. This is the Golden Microphone, and we are Savant AI. Come, follow us, visit us again, invite your friends. We want to share with you, communicate, let us know what you